Well, it's official. J.J Abrams is rebooting Superman. It's been rumored for a while that him and WB were working on a Superman project, but because of the ratings and positive reception of CW's Superman and Lois show, they decided to go ahead with this announcement. Now, as of right now, there's no director, no release window, or confirmation if Henry Cavill is still in the leading role. But considering this is a reboot, I really doubt that he's going to be. Only thing that is confirmed is that J.J Abrams is working on it, and it's being written by, I don't want to butcher that, Coates. We'll call him Mr. Coates. But even knowing just that bit of information has convinced a lot of people that they don't want to watch it, and I don't really blame them. Before I explain why people aren't looking forward to this, I'll first say that I understand why Warner Bros. Wants to do a reboot. Basically, the DCEU has been in disarray because they weren't happy with the reception that Man of Steel and BVS got, and went to change things ASAP. Instead of committing to it and letting Snyder work on the projects they already had planned, they instead changed things immediately. Not only completely reshooting Justice League, but also changing David Ayer's Suicide Squad, wanting to remove and change scenes in Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and not to mention all the cancelled and delayed projects. And with movies like Joker and the Batman coming out later on, along with Wonder Woman kinda not lining up with films that take place before it, it's clear they're just putting the early DCEU movies behind them. And as of right now, Snyder confirmed that he's not working on any future DC projects, but that could change in the future. So rebooting Superman nearly a decade later makes sense because they're clearly trying to disassociate themselves with the Snyderverse movies, and they haven't used Henry Cavill since 2017. Even the cameo in Shazam wasn't Henry Cavill. So since they want to wash their hands of the early DCEU, rebooting Superman makes sense for them. But now let's talk about why no one is looking forward to the J.J. Superman movie. So JJ has a habit of rebooting or updating franchises with mixed results. We got one average Star Trek movie, and then a below average sequel, and some ass Star Wars movies. The thing they all have in common is they're full of nostalgia bait that rely on previous entries for not only cheap pops from the audience, but also for some plot points. He's pretty good at rehashing things that came up before and presenting them as if they were new. So he's a safe bet if you want to repackage a product and give it to the audience. I'm predicting a Superman Returns situation. It'll have a plot and story very similar to the Christopher Reeves era, and explore the character on a very surface level, and stick to what people expect. And throw in a bunch of callback and references and hell, try to get some actors who appeared in those older movies for a cameo. And that's probably what Warner Bros. Wants. They saw the negative reception Snyder's versions got after 2 movies, and they instead probably just want to do the opposite. It probably won't be as boring as Superman Returns, but just like it will feel very familiar. But hey, at least it'll look pretty. But another controversial point is who's writing it. Coates is on a long list of guys who ruined Captain America and pushed his anti-America, anti-white views into his stories. He's also known for having some pretty out there political views, like how he sees white supremacy and everything. After him and Dr. Cornel West had a falling out, he had this to say about Coates. In short, Coates fetishizes white supremacy. He makes it almighty, magical, and unremovable. He then will go on to talk about Coates' hypocritical views on Obama. Coates praises Obama as a deeply moral human being, while remaining silent on the 563 drone strikes, the assassination of U.S. citizens with no trial, the 26,171 bombs dropped on 5 Muslim-majority countries in 2016, and the 550 Palestinian children killed with U.S. support planes in 51 days. He calls Obama one of the greatest presidents in American history, who, for 8 years, walked on ice and never fell. And not to mention, in one of his books, he had this to say about the 9/11 first responders. These were the police and firefighters who were rushing into the buildings trying to save people, whom many lost their lives in the process. They were not human to me, black, white, or whatever. They were menaces of nature. They were the fire, the comet, the storm, which could, with no justification, shatter my body. Yeah, so needless to say, he's pretty controversial in his own right. And others talks about making Superman black. But this was a rumor I've heard ever since 2018, when Michael B. Jordan played Killmonger. But with JJ and Coates involved, this actually might be a possibility. Now, this next section might turn some people away, and you might agree or you might not. But the way I see it, race-swapping characters is dumb. It was dumb when Ghost in the Shell did it, dumb when Doctor Strange did it to the Ancient One, and dumb when it happened to Bane too. Hell, they changed almost everything about Bane. And hell, it's still happening with Supergirl and Tim Drake, who they changed his background to be basically more like Jason Todd. And the reason is, when you take a character who has been traditionally one race and then change them, to the fans, they will only be seen as a knockoff. But more importantly, this will be a wasted opportunity to explore characters who are actually racially diverse, who haven't had the spotlight. I agree with what just some guy said on Twitter. He replied to a tweet saying, "It's not completely different. It's exactly the same. Changing a character's race to play politics is stupid, lazy, and very racist. There are scores of DC black characters to make films about. There's no need to ruin Superman to appeal to racists like Coates." And I agree with him. What about Static Shock? Or Jon Stewart's Green Lantern? Or Black Lightning? Batwing? Or hell, why not give Steel another shot with a budget and actual talent? Or Cyborg? Actually, I think they're gonna hold off on that one for a while. My point is, if you take well-established characters and change their race, gender, or sexuality, it won't feel authentic. Instead, it'll feel like they're pandering, and will take attention away from characters that are actually diverse. It's not confirmed yet whether or not they're making Superman black, but many people just wouldn't rule out the possibility now. If you don't agree and you think changing these characters is a good way to promote diversity, then that's fine. And as for Henry Cavill, no official word, but since Warner Bros. Are trying to wash their hands of Snyder's work work, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be recasted. And with this being a reboot, I'm pretty certain he's going to be. I think that the only time we will see Henry Cavill back as Superman is if the Snyder Cut is super successful, bringing in a lot of merch sales and new subscriptions to HBO Max. Then I guess they would probably let Snyder do at least one more Justice League movie, then we could see Henry Cavill back as Superman then. But that's far in the future, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, that's what's happening. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. I looked at a bunch of comments and I can tell a lot of people just aren't happy about it, and I can't really say I blame them. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and drop a like on it. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time.
Does Superman need to be white? Yes.
Yeah, you're crazy, Jar Jar.